What do you do for the next 3 hours of maintenance? I have a script. It's called Awkward VTuber. You guys want to hear the Awkward VTuber script? No? Okay, let's go into it. Okay. Psst. Hey, I couldn't help but peek at your phone. So, you're a VTuber? That's so cool. I'm a VTuber too. I just followed you on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and the TikTok as well. Ooh, I see that you have an NSFW tag. Whoa, that's really hot. You should do an Ara Ara for me. Ara Ara redeem. We should definitely collab sometime. I'm usually super shy when it comes to asking people to collab, but you're such a chill person. We can play Apex, Dead by Daylight, or maybe even Minecraft together. Want to put our beds next to each other? I'm just kidding. Unless, dang, you also have lots of skeps. We should get art together. We could do something cool like fighting pose, or maybe chill like us hanging out, or even something spicy. Ooh woo. Oh my god. I forgot I have stream soon. You should add me on Discord so we can plan something. My Discord tag is send Palin the sheet 6969. I'll catch you later. Make sure to hydrate. Hydrate redeem. Thanks, I hated it. You're welcome. Ara Ara redeem. It's so bad. This isn't awkward, just awesome VTubers being cringe as they all are. No, this is pretty cringe. Say Ara Ara, Mr. Logs. Ara Ara. Not the MBT stealer ideas? Yeah, let's steal his ideas. Hello, chat. Royal Tribute can hand rip your opponent of all their monsters, and its required field spell does see play, but it does not. What are some other crazy strong cards that don't see competitive play at the moment? As you all know, Royal Valley, Necro Valley, Royal Tribute has the effect, where if you control Necro Valley, both players discard any monster cards they control. So, what exactly did you guys send in for these things? This is searchable. The Mayakashi Shiranuki deck is ultra consistent with the new support. Yeah, I don't know about that. But since you lock yourself into Mayakashi monsters, so let's see what this card does. You tribute one Mayakashi or Shiranui Synchro or Link monster. Neither player can special summon monsters from the hand, deck, or extra deck for the rest of this turn. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target one of your banished zombie monsters, return it to the graveyard. Ooh. You can only use one Ghost Meets Girl, a masterful Mayakashi Shiranui Saga effect per turn, and only once that turn. That's not hard at all to use. No one plays Shiranuis or Mayakashi. However, you have to tribute a Shiranui or Mayakashi Synchro and or Link monster. Both Mayakashi and Shiranuis play Synchro monsters. They both also have Link monsters, but they're better in Mayakashi than in Shiranui. And you have to tribute it, and then it just locks your opponent's special summoning from everywhere for the turn. This is a full-ass lingering effect that also allows you to reset Mezuki. This is good. The only problem is the card is attached to Mayakashi and or Shiranuis, which both suck and have never seen competitive play in the TCG. However, in in Duel Links, Shiranuis were a menace. Okay, oh my god, this one's crazy. Ursatric Radiation. Activate this card by placing 7 counters on it. Each time an Ursatric monster is special summoned from the hand or extra deck, you can remove 1 counter from this card to draw 1 card. Once per turn during the end phase, you can target 1 Ursatric card in your graveyard, except Ursatric Radiation, shuffle into your deck. You can only use 1 of these effects per turn. No. You can only control 1 Ursatric Radiation. So, basically, you can draw up to 7 cards. For those of you who don't know, the Ursatrics have effects, where while they're in your hand, you can discard one other, card. I don't remember if it's specifically like a monster or a level 7 or higher monster or something. But you do have to get rid of 1 other resource from your hand to special summon them from the hand. So this card exists to try to offset that cost, which, yeah, kind of need it. I didn't know this card existed. I just thought Ursatrics were terrible. I didn't know they printed a card to try to offset their terrible cost. And this is amazing. Like, holy crap. 7 counters? Like, this is a hard 7 per turn. It's like no, it's not a hard 7 per turn. The effect is just you can only control 1 of these cards, so you can't have 2 of them on the field. But if you use it, you can just activate another one eventually, because it's not a once per turn. It's a soft 7 per turn. Yeah, and it's still bad. I had no idea this card existed. And it lets you draw 7 cards. Still not played, because Ursatrics are bad. Ooh, this one's good. It gets non-searchable, but it's wild that it's never seen play when Synchro decks are in the meta. When your opponent would summon a Monstars, send 1 face-up Synchro monster you control to the graveyard. Negate this summon, and if you do, destroy that monster. And then your opponent cannot summon a monster until the end of this turn. So for the low price of sending a synchro monster to the grave, you can stop your opponent from summoning for the rest of the turn. I'm adding this to my Swow deck. It's so random. Yeah. Like, technically, the effect is very good. The problem is, like, it's definitely a going first card that requires setup. Yeah, it's a counter trap, so they can't respond to it either. You just, like, end your opponent's turn if they try to do anything. You do lose your synchro monster, though. Same as the first card we saw. Oh, yeah. You have to send a Link synchro monster to the graveyard. This one is better, though, because it's any synchro monster instead of just Shiranui or Mayakashi cards, and it's a counter trap. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Gravity Collapse is just straight up better than Ghost Meets Girl, a masterful Mayakashi Shiranui saga. Next up, we have... It's very easy to swarm the field with multiple different rangers. I could only pull its effect off against Albaz 3 times, which is impressive luck. I even managed to do it against Under Floodgates. Super Quants all have different attributes and types. I know how Super Quants work. Maid time, here you go. If you control 3 or more Super Quantum monsters with different names, shuffle as many cards your opponent controls as possible into the deck. Then your opponent special summons 1 monster from their extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. You can banish this card and 1 Super Quantal Fairy Alphan from your graveyard. Activate 1 Super Quantal Mech Ship Magna Carrier from your deck. It gets your field spell? Well, that's pretty good. So if you use this, it spins all of your opponent's cards and allows them to cheat on a monster from their extra deck. As long as they're not playing Waking the Dragon targets, that's usually not that big a deal. Because a lot of cards need to be brought up properly to have their good effects. There's not a lot of them that have good effects just like on their own. Evil Sworn Ophion Sunbreaker. I'm honestly going to be shocked if this card does not start skyrocketed usage now that Metaverse is at 3. Summon Breaker. During the main phase 1, if the turn player successfully conducts their 3rd summon of a monster this turn, it becomes the end phase. See, the reason nobody plays this card, and they do play Summon Limit, is because Summon Limit stops you at 2 summons. If you can get to a 3rd summon, like, for example, you summon 1 monster, then you special summon a 2nd monster, you can use those 2 monsters to go into an extra deck card. And that extra deck card can just be a Nightmare Phoenix, which destroys this card. You want to get rid of cards that can stop Nightmare Phoenix. Summon Limit stops Nightmare Phoenix, because you can't get into it without having 3 summons. This one allows the 3rd summon to happen, it just ends the turn. But you can get rid of it. Enter the main phase 2? Oh, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, just go into the main phase 2 to avoid it. F.A. Hang On Mach. Ooh, I love this card. Gains attack equal to its level times 300. Unaffected by activated effects from an opponent's monsters whose original level or rank is lower than this card's level. Each time an FA spell trap card is activated, increases card's level by 1. If this card is level 7 or higher, any cards sent to your opponent's graveyards are banished instead. Dies to any Link monster? There's not really like too many good generic Link monsters that can get rid of this card. Like outside of like the Link 4s. Like plenty of Link 4s can get rid of it, but good luck getting to Link 4 under a one-sided Macrocosmos, which is also unaffected by monster effects. Funny thing, this card was an absolute menace in Duel Links when it came out, because in Duel Links, when they released this card, there was a skill in the game called like level modulation, where once per duel, you could reveal the level a monster in your hand to increase the level of monster you control by that monster's level permanently. So you would normal summon Hang On Mach, activate level modulation, increase its level by 10, and you'd have like a 5,000 attack monster that was immune to monster effects and floodgated your opponent. Yeah, per duel, you would just win on your next turn because like the life point value is only 4,000 in the game. And they didn't have Link monsters at the time. Like, it was crazy overpowered. In my opinion, Dark Magic Attack is one of the strongest quick play spells ever printed. Yes, you need to have both DM and DMG on the field, but DM can be cheated with Souls, and both DMG plus DBM can be cheated with Bond, which is searchable with Rod. The problem is you have to play DM. Yeah, you see, that's the big problem, is you have to play Dark Magician. It's a quick play spell card which destroys all your opponent's cards. The fact that it's a quick play is relevant, because it means you can use it during your opponent's turn to just stop all their plays. Technically good, however, activation requirement makes it, like, unplayable. You need 2 specific named monsters on the field, and those 2 specific named monsters are both bad. Technically, the effect is great, because it's a quick play spell that destroys all your opponent's cards. Yeah, you need 2 bad cards on the field in order to use it. I mean, it fits the list, like, you know, technically good effect, but you can't use it because the cards suck. It's a Link 2 that searches pretty much any card a Pendulum deck could ever want, and yet the decks that play it still suck. That's because Pendulums suck. If this card is link summoned in the extra monster zone, you can pay 1,200 life points, add 1 pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. But for the rest of this turn, unless you pendulum summon after this effect resolves, you cannot activate monster effects. And the effects of any cards in the pendulum zones are negated. 1,200 is so random? That is a very random amount. Because the attack is 1,200? I mean, yeah, I guess. White Howling, incredibly strong card that generally should make its way to the list somehow, someday. If you control a water monster, target 1 spell card in your opponent's graveyard, banish it, and if you do, for the rest of this turn, negate all spell effects on your opponent's field. This effect is so strong, yet the reason it's terrible is because your opponent needs to have a spell card in the graveyard already. Generally, you just kind of want to negate like the first card they use. This one allows them to use a card first, and you just kind of hope it goes to the graveyard. Hard counter strikers, maybe I should play this in my Umi control deck. Like, the problem is usually like you want to stop that first card, the first spell card they use. Because most of them only use one. A lot of decks only use one spell card. They don't usually have like a second one to use because it's like all monster effects. Yeah, and you can't use it like continuous. Like if you think about this in like comparison, if you're going against a Flu Under Reese player, you're not gonna have anything. This is just gonna be a dead card, even though they do use spell cards. All right, it's been like 2 hours already. I had other stuff I had to do. All right, see you tomorrow.